and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name's Adam Cook. I'm your host for this video game-based podcast. It's episode 417. I nearly said my name again, if that gives you any indication as to what kind of week we're all having. To my side there, you may see Adam Carroll.
Cheers, how are you?
And it's good. I'm good, Adam, and I'm glad you spoke then, didn't just sort of wave so that if people are listening rather than watching, they could. For a minute, I thought you were going to. I thought you weren't going to speak, and you were just going to go.
I was actually thinking, like, as I went with my cup towards the camera, I went, "Oh yeah, I need to say something."
Better speak, yeah. And doing very well. Not speaking at all at the moment. Just below us there is Mr. Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate. I'm very good at being quiet when I have to be.
Is that
sounds creepy, actually? That sounds really creepy, but
it's a little bit sort of shower. Like, you know, you're the guy that when asked what would your superpower be if you could have it, it'd be I'd like to be invisible so I could go into the shower. That's aren't you? That's
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And that's not rude or sexist because I didn't say which showers.
No, your shower.
There you go.
Well, you've ruined it there, mate.
Well, sorry.
How is everyone? Is everyone good? Everyone's ready to rock and roll video games and all that?
Yeah, games are coming.
They really are, Adam.
They are coming. And the thing is, I have a backlog and I can't actually catch up with these games. And what's going to happen?
Tell you the secret, mate? You will never catch up.
I usually was. Do you know what?
No.
No, I was really good at keeping up with my games, and no, it's just I think it's I've been defeated. I've been defeated.
Yes. But also, you do seem to want to 100% games like Assassin's Creed, which is gonna hinder that.
Kind of your own fault, mate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're the same as me. You pick big games, and then you go, "Oh, I didn't have a chance to play all the big games." You're like, "No."
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, in your defence, I have never known a year. I've never known a year like this. I could just stop there. But the games I've been doing this 10 years now plus, and whether it's because, I mean, you can't. That's the thing. I can't say, because of the pandemic, more games than ever have hit, because that's not. You can't just go, there's a pandemic, but the game out. It has to be done. It has to be. I don't know, but let's just knock into it, shall we? I have been playing, this is a weird one. I digitally played, not quite 5 hours of Watch Dogs Legion. And those who've been listening to God is a Geek for a long time know that myself and Chris White, not here today, are both huge fans of Watch Dogs 2. I remember he wrote an article that got us a lot of hatred because he said it was the best open world he'd ever played. Yes, better than even GTA games. I agree with that, by the way.
Hey, that's a spicy statement. That's a spicy
Only if
statement.
It's not true. Only if it's not true. It was clickbait, but also it wasn't clickbait. It was the perfect article. So Watch Dogs Legion, there is a sort of video preview on the site, which is my thoughts written down and me reading them out, but we can get into a bit more free-form kind of discussion, the jazz. Think of this as the jazz preview of Watch Dogs Legion. So I will start by saying I really, really like this game. Like, after I finished playing it, I had a lot of thoughts swirling around, but I was like, I want to play this more. I want to play it from the start. I want to see how this all works. I want to keep playing this. And also, by the way, it seems huge in terms of how big the game is. Standard Ubisoft fare. So, but the thing is, I can't talk about this game without saying how also kind of weird some of it is. And I touched on this in the preview, and we can perhaps talk more here. Is that the stuff they've shown. The trailers they've shown, and they've shown a lot of trailers with the swearing granny and all this stuff. I don't know what game they think they're making, but it's not the one I played. Like, it is Watch Dogs. It does play like Watch Dogs 2. It plays, quite similarly. In fact, it's a bit more streamlined and smoother. It's really dark.
Yeah, but isn't that what one was in a way?
Yes, and that's why, I feel like it is kind of... It's 2 with one's tone, but darker still.
So I want to look straight off, right? Let me ask you, from, as you said, you're a big fan of 2. Do you like 1? Do you like 1?
No, I thought 1 had a lot of promise, but I thought ultimately it was kind of boring.
Okay,
and for what they promised, I felt like this shouldn't be this boring, whereas I felt 2 kind of got that right.
Okay, so 2 definitely steps it up in terms of what it's giving you to use and all that jazz. What does Legion do? Does it do like I'm look, if you say nothing really, it just does another
No,
two.
it does. No, because it does the sort of raison d'etre of Watch Dogs Legion is the kind of you can be anyone thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you're the player character and there's us three, you can recruit one of us, all three of us, and you can play as them. And it works, man. Like
Does it?
Yeah, like 100%.
Because I want to raise the point of my worry is, do you feel any sort of attachment to any protagonist as such? Or are you just yourself in a playground?
So this is genuinely one of the things that I, at the moment, don't feel like... And this seems like such a cop-out, but I don't feel I can fairly answer that because I played 4.5 to 5 hours of the game.
Fair.
One of the things I would say is what you have just said 100% was in my thought. Because if you asked me what any of the names of, what any of the 6, 7, maybe 7 people I played as, not a clue. I could tell you the stereotypes they all were.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably. And that may have been coincidence, but they sure seemed like archetypal, stereotypes, 100%.
Yeah, because I guess to build on Adam's point, like, how does the story work if you're not one person all the time?
So they seem to have recorded dialogue for... And this genuine... And look, you can hate the game when it comes out. You can hate the game if you previewed it. But what you have to say is, I 100% respect that I did story missions with different characters, and they had all had dialogue recorded for them.
Wow.
So I don't know how. Maybe I just saw quite a few stories, but they're all talking all the time. They're all, and some of the voices are awful. Some of them are.
God blimey, Governor.
Oh, way worse. Way worse.
Oh, I know.
Way worse.
Trust me, I know. Yeah.
Like Danny Dyer. That's all London is, apparently, in terms of the white guys. In terms of basically all the other ethnic groups of London, I didn't see a single one where I didn't think, man, if I was that kind of journalist, I could write an article about stereotyping. And that's not to say that, for example, a Jamaican woman that you can recruit doesn't sound heavily Jamaican. But to my mind, when I was hearing them speak, it was... Because it's not just the accent, it's what they're saying. Like, it doesn't... And again, preview sense, it doesn't work to have such flippant discussions than a mission where you have to get your phone camera out and literally photograph corpses' faces so that the AI can tell you which one of those corpses is the person you were looking for. And then to be walking out and go like, yeah, blood, no, I mean, no, nothing, and all that. And it's like, it doesn't, it's kind of jarring.
Yeah, if it was like just taking the mick out of itself.
Which is not, by the way.
Which is and I think like the tonal difference would suggest that it isn't. Then it's fine because it almost when I was listening to your preview and the kind of sound bites you hear, it almost feels like it's people that don't live in the UK think
this is
people
my
in
concern.
London sound like,
then also someone went no, they don't all go, all right, crawl, blimey, governor, have a cup of tea. They also went, no, there's like London is actually a melting pot of all different backgrounds. It's something we can actually be quite proud of. There's not much in this country we can be proud of these days, but we can be quite proud of how welcoming we are to people from every different background. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But it feels like someone told them that and then went, okay, so, right, we need to get that ethnicity, that accent. Oh, hang on, there's quite a lot of Irish people over there, Adam, so we're going to get someone from Ireland, but we're not actually going to get an Irish person to voice him. I wouldn't be surprised. That, again, and even then, the costumes you're wearing, like when you go into combat scenarios, it's a bit like Altair when the hood goes up, or when you, and that's kind of their way of signifying you're in a combat. Or everyone's gone, he takes it off, you're back at, and they do this with like helmets, and you can customize all this. Like one of my guys like puts like a knight's hat on, and like the other, and so I've got this tattooed cyberpunky looking, I think Northern Irish, but the accent is, I'm not sure, woman who, like, she's got, like, she's got a tummy out, she's got, like, a crop top on, tattoos everywhere, and I'm not going to do the accent. And then she puts a knight's head on, and then she goes into a building with using your, like, mobile phone to hack a drone, and You use that drone to unlock all the camera systems to get in there to look at it, where you find, I can't remember what her name was, Mary something, and she's like the proper, I'm gonna kill you, and like she's the one, she's enslaving people, and she's got a knife to her going, that shows good ingenuity, a bit fucking much if you ask me. Are you trying something? And then she's like properly threatening to kill people, and like she's controlling them with she basically can murder you with the touch of a button. And then it cuts back out, and then this cyberpunky, tattooed, mohawked Irish lass suddenly starts saying like, fucking hell, what? Ooh, and it's like, why? I think they want to be funny and fun. But the story, again, and this is 5 hours, so maybe you push into it, and maybe, because it seems like she might not be the only villain, like maybe you defeat her, and maybe there's more, and there's more of that. I think people are going to, and I'm doing it right now, I think people are going to analyse the tone of this game rather than the game. And it is part of it, but I've just done it. I came here thinking, talk about the game. Don't, you can't be sure of the story. There's probably 40 odd hours left that you haven't played. But it's that in your, not in your face. That's not the right way of putting it. But it is so. It's really there, Like this is a dystopian London set in somewhere in the future, not too distant, and it's that awful idea that the governments and everyone have taken over digital everything. You can't go anywhere. There's things you drive through in your cars, and they scan your car to see who's inside it. That kind of almost a bit like Jack Bauer 24 style. Do you know what I mean? And it is, but like the gameplay is still fun. Like
I was going to say, mate, that on your preview video when you're on that drone and you just nip
that's
off.
Great.
That stuff looks quality and good fun.
That is great, really and good. Sightseeing around London, like it's fun, and all the hacking stuff. Like, did you both play Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah.
I didn't, because I bounced off Watch Dogs 1, so I
you should try 2. It's still a brilliant game.
Backlog,
but Adam, you know what I mean in terms of like the silly stuff in that game that's fun. It's still fun here. Like you can point at a car going past and hit like L1 to focus on it, and hit square, or what was I using Xbox? So it'd be X, wouldn't it, or cross or whatever, and it will make that car veer left, and then you can press Y and it will make it veer forward, and you can basically make cars crash into each other. You can raise,
you can cause carnage.
You can cause carnage. You can. I didn't use guns a lot.
Did they, by any chance, bring back? No, it mightn't have been there straight away, but the slow motion with the gunplay. That was in 1, you see. You could slow it down.
I didn't see it, but
and
I
it
really
took it away for
use
2.
Guns an awful lot because I didn't feel. So the thing about these games is, if you played this game as just like a shooter, I think you'd think it was an average shooter and an average game.
Yeah. It's like
it's an option, is what it is.
It's all about. Like 2
hacking.
especially, 2 definitely laid out this whole thing of there is a base of like enemies, and you can either go in and do that, as you said, but that's not the fun part. It's all about seeing what's there at your disposal to just sit there and hack it and make it all happen.
This is, and that's why I had fun, and that's why 5 hours felt. And it was quite cold that day, and I was sat exactly where I am right now playing it, but it was a 5-hour session, and I was getting cold. By the end, I was like, shit, I need to go and put my hands, but I didn't notice because it flew by. That stuff is still great. Like the one bit, for some reason, that wasn't captured, I didn't even enter a building, and I was just distracting guards, setting bombs off, hacking stuff, and I literally took out the whole building bar 2 people I just couldn't see a way to get to. And the thing is, and this is going back to that character thing, so every character has a skill set.
Yeah.
And there are unlocks you can use like when you level up, you can not level up, but when you get a certain amount of points, you can spend them on unlocking things that are kind of, it's not a skill tree, but a skill system. And some of them are like, right, now you've unlocked that. For example, you can upgrade how you hack stuff. So you can take a drone down, or you can take over a drone, or and there are different kinds of drones and different levels. And one of those similar skills was like, once you've unlocked that, all your guys have them because it's based on your phone. So it's your whatever you're running. But at the same time, you can, if you recruit a barrister or lawyer, I guess, to our American friends, when you get arrested say Adam gets arrested, I'm playing as Adam and he gets arrested. He's unplayable until he's done his time. and it's not like he's in prison for 10 years because it's misdemeanors you usually get done for. But he's in there. I can't play as him. Now, if he's got a skill set, I was using him presumably because I really like his skill set, his stuff that he's got, because each character's got all these unique traits. You know, some are as simple as they get discounts buying stuff. Some are like they come automatically with a spider drone, or they throw a mine that can disable shit. So I'm playing as Adam because I like what his character has to offer. But I've been done. I've messed up. I got beaten up, and the police, or wherever they are now, took me away. Having a barrister means you can reduce the jail time. Having a doctor means you can get people in action again because they don't die, they're just out. And having a doctor on your team means you can reduce the time they're unavailable for that. So there's all this at play, to the point where I would have, and again, because I was previewing it, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to play it after this session, it was a case of, this is mega exciting to see. I don't want to call it like builds, but they kind of are builds. And some of them, you know, because you can recruit anyone, and some of them you look at and it's like, oh, I'm not going to bother with that. You know, his interesting trait is that he likes sex with donkeys or something. You know what I mean? Like there's not much. I mean, that wasn't in the game. I've just you know, it might have been.
Interesting to see how you use that to distract people.
Maybe. Well, I think it would work. But like, you know what I mean? And so there are probably characters, but they are still recruitable. So if you wanted to be that guy, it's like, no, I want to know what this one's about. So he looks useless, but maybe there's some sort of Easter egg or secret. You can recruit him. Now, like, Adam could be a character that I walk up to and just, like, he's getting beaten up by the police. So I go over, beat the police up, turn to Adam and go, man, this isn't good enough. Why don't you join us? And he's like, sure, good stuff. We're on. And now he's a playable character. Great. But that goes all the way to the other end of the scale, where there are actually people who are on the bad guy side, who are like, and it's got like a little icon that says basically, we hate you guys. We hate DedSec. You know, we're CTOS. We hate you guys. But you can still recruit them, because what you find is, in this world, everyone's doing something bad to someone else. So you can investigate him using your AI that's basically Jarvis from Iron Man. And he's the one who does all the jokes, which is why there is jokes in here. But you can use him, and you can use your AI stuff and all the, you know, all the phone stuff to find out about him and find his weaknesses. And then you can exploit his weaknesses, or realize that his weaknesses are actually things you can help, and you help him. And one of them I did, it basically ended up that he was going to get bumped off. He worked for the bad guys, but he was going to get bumped off by a different section of bad guys. And I saved him and turned him to realising, well, I was actually with the good guys. Come and play with us. And then I played as him for 3/4 of an hour. And he had a unique skill set. And some of them don't have weapons. He came with a gun. Some of them come with a pistol. Some of them come with a non-lethal pistol. So there's all this at play. And you can do all this in the background. Like, you can be doing a mission and spot someone just by literally hovering over them, look at them and go, oh, that looks useful. And you can tag them for later, essentially, and they go into your... And let's say you have to investigate some people. Some people are... it's genuinely impressive. Genuinely impressive. But, as Adam pointed out, that does mean there's no... I mean, I said him earlier, there's no Altair.
Mm.
You know? So...
And that would be...
That's a concern.
Yeah, like it's kind of ballsy to do it, like, you know. But for me, like the mission structure alone and the gameplay better be fun constantly.
And it is, from what I've played of it. Like, there was no part of the time I wasn't having fun. Even the dark shit was. Yeah. Because the stealth, by the way, is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because
like,
it's not quite like Metal Gear 5. It's more Assassin's Creed in that it knows it's a game, so you can literally be walking on. You can almost be walking, not face to face, but you can almost be walking diagonal, and they won't see you, and you can get behind them. Now, and there will be people that are like, this is just stupid. But then I would say to them, it's a video game. It's not going to be a fun video game if every footstep is real and they hear every. It's a video game, and it's that kind of video game. And if you don't like them, it's not for you.
Yeah, and like, look, I enjoy this series, and this I welcome this third installment, and I think like they have all been, by the sounds, well, I've still yet to play Legion, obviously, but it still sounds like another different Watch Dogs game as opposed to like just hashing out the same old thing.
I would also add, I've not played a game with as much swearing in it as this.
Yeah,
and people who watch this or listen know this is big boy swearing, like and Again, it just might have been because you when you're playing a huge open world game for a preview build and you've got an X amount of time to play it, you have to play in a certain way. You want to see a couple of story missions to know what that's about. You also then want to just go and dick around in the open world. You want to do some drive. You want to do a bit of everything in that sort of window. So maybe it was just byproduct of the way I was playing it. But wow, they think Londoners just swear at everyone all the time about everything. And maybe they do. My dad used to, and he was from there, so I don't know. But like it's not one of those open world games you can get away with playing with sort of kids walking in and out of the room, because there might be a swear now and again. It's like, no, there's constants around. There are like graffiti signs with the C-bomb there that, there's a lot. There's a lot. But I genuinely can't wait to play more. Like, it's probably, I don't know whether to say it because it's probably making people angry, but I probably want to play this. If I hadn't played...
You're going to say it over Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I am. I think I almost want to play this more. But that's more because I haven't played Cyberpunk. And with Cyberpunk, I desperately want to play it, but because I want to know how it feels. And I love that developer, and I love The Witcher 2, 3, I even played 1. I love them. I want to see what that game is. But I've now played Legion, and it's like, I really like it. And I feel like it's going to be another game I really like in the series, but you're not supposed to like, and people will shit on because of who it's from. I can't do that. I can only judge the game in terms of critical things, and I really, really like the game. Like I say, the tone is batshit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For all I know, they made it so that I saw certain things because it was a preview build. I don't think so, but I do want to see where it goes because it's really, really dark. We're talking human trafficking sort of dark. And I want to see where that goes, because that could be... I mean, please don't come out and say it's not political, though, lads, because it is. And most things are. I don't know. Speaking of politics, though, I've been playing Facebook's Oculus Quest 2.
Hey.
I'm not gonna listen. So, Facebook owns Oculus. You need a Facebook account to play Oculus Quest 2. If that's a deal breaker for you, it's a deal breaker. It literally is what it is. If you do not want to have a Facebook account and you do not want this, I can't do anything about that. I mentioned it last week. I am hugely, hugely impressed with this thing. And even though sort of virtual reality is a very solitary experience, you guys have both played it. It is one of those things where if you live with someone, it is a kind of a case of, I'm going in here now. I know I'm in the room, but bye-bye, because you can't, So this actually does a thing, and the Quest 1 did this, but you can cast the Quest to another device. So in the same way that if I was playing like Valve Index on this PC I'm looking right at, you would see the game on the screen. They've bothered to actually put that into the Quest, so you can cast it to your mobile phone. So you could cast to your phone, give it to your other half, or your dad, or your brother, or anyone, and he can watch. So I was playing a puzzle game called, I think it was Cubism, which is sort of it's a really good game, actually. I hadn't heard of it before, and it's a bit like Tetris. You get a box in front of you, and you have to they're not actually tetrominos, but they are similar, and you have to sort of make them all fit in the box, and of course, because it's a VR game, you're physically, moving them around. But because I was casting it, my son was able to go, what about putting that top one in? And it adds a communal element that I think is more comfortable, especially when you're talking about a Quest which is completely wire-free. Now, you can connect it to a PC for Oculus Link. I actually haven't done that at the time of recording this. I will have by the time the review goes up. I've got to be careful because there are some games that are embargoed and some that aren't. So I'm going to just talk about games I know have been talked about before, like Beat Saber. Has anyone played that?
Yeah.
I haven't. I really want to, but obviously I haven't got VR. But it's just,
Beat Saber is amazing.
It is genuinely
seems like
brilliant.
Right up my street.
It's one of those, like with Ring Fit, I fell off of it. I actually think this could be a game that gets me fit because I really, really like it. It's just great. And I got my wife to play it. And it was interesting because this basically Beat Saber, for those who don't know, you're holding two Beat Sabers, lightsabers, and you have to hit boxes the way they've got arrows on and swipe at them. A wall will come and you have to duck under the wall or go to the side. And when she first got the wall come at her and she had to duck under it, she was like, oh my God. And she doesn't play VR.
I don't actually like the ducking, if I'm honest.
I will say
that's the one thing it beats it. I'm just a bit like, because
it's too much.
It feels great
it feels great just doing that,
just doing that constantly, and I just want that to be the challenge.
Yeah.
and this is okay going side to side, but when I'm ducking, do you know when you have to duck and something like that, you just duck too much?
Well, it also seems to, when you come out of the duck, seems to give you one where you've got to smash down. So you're sort of coming out and going, like, you know, almost like a wave.
Basically, I'm just saying I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, my back's bad and I'm tremendously fat, so it's like it's obviously not comfortable to do that full stop. So yeah, Beat Saber just fantastic, to the point where I'm considering buying the Green Day DLC, because I like Green Day, and why not play songs? There's a Linkin Park set in there as well, I think now. I believe
that
PC,
came out recently, didn't it?
Yeah, I've gone through that.
I believe on PC you can actually put your own. People can track their own songs like they did in Rock Band Network. I don't know if that works with this, because you can connect it to a PC, but there's also like the Oculus Quest store is different to the Oculus Rift store. But I think they're discontinuing the Rift anyway. It's a complicated thing. They'll get there. Super Hot is still tremendous. Plays. And so the biggest thing about the Quest 2 is that it's been upgraded tech specs wise from the first Quest. So I am well impressed with how the visual fidelity in your ears. The speakers appear to be kind of almost on the headset. So you can't, if you really want proper immersion, you need to plug a headphone in and you know, do this, or what like Adam's got there with, like, you know, just the buds sort of thing. But I actually kind of like them being there, because it means although you are immersed, you can still hear people around you if someone does say, Adam, you know, and I quite like that. And there's also, let's say, the option to just plug in a pair of headphones in. Just very impressed with it. Like, for the price, I mean, what's PSVR cost now? That would be my question, because
it's still like is it 3?
So if it's 3, I would say spend a few quid extra and get the Quest 2, because the Quest 2 is, I believe, no, it's $299, isn't it? I may have to Google that to just check. I believe.
Let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
How is the Quest 2 for setting up? Because that's the one thing with the PSVR
simple.
is just poor. It's not that it's like a disaster. It's just a nightmare when you don't have it set up. And
it is right. So you get it out, and it's obviously charged, but you can charge it if you need to. You get it out, you put it on and turn it on. You sign in to your account, which will be your Facebook account, and then you're done.
Yeah.
You, depending on if you want to sit in VR, and you can set your room. The only thing is, and this doesn't happen with a wired VR. In wired VR, like I play here behind me, and again, sorry for those listening, this is a visual thing, but just imagine I'm in a room, which I am, you are, but you're in a room. Imagine you have to draw your boundary, you know, in VR, so you can draw the boundary, and it's done, because this is where you play. My PC's under this desk. I can't go outside. With the Quest, because you can literally play wherever the hell you feel like it, you do have to do your boundary again and again. So like I can go and play in my lounge, but what I find I just do is I just tell it that I'm stationary, unless I know and even then it will pick up on your movement. All you're doing there is setting what they call a guardian, which is to say that if you then go to punch through like that, the guardian will suddenly appear on the screen and say, you're about to punch your wall, mate, because this is where you set your guardian up. So that's all that is. So it's not a big deal, and but it's done, and you just log in, and you know, if you've already got like a credit card or whatever on your Facebook account that you use for purchases. I mean, I don't know what you'd be purchasing, but maybe you liked Farmville back in the day. I don't know. It's just all there. It's just all there. You connect to your Wi-Fi. It's just all there.
Cool.
You do not need... And this is the thing. But with Quest, the quality of such, without connecting to your PC, it didn't have quite the horsepower in the headset. But this does.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Like, it's... I can't sit here and go, oh, everyone go and buy it, because it's still £299 for the lowest. It's basically storage thing, $299 for 64.
And at this stage, I think a lot of people are going for a new Xbox or a new PlayStation as well.
It's a difficult sell.
Yeah.
But we are now at the point where there are VR experiences that are probably justifying VR.
Yeah.
You know, you can play Half-Life Alyx on this. You can't play it wireless.
I'd love to play.
You can't play it wireless. You do need to use the Oculus Link and then play it via Steam VR. But you have. But again, but the thing is, like, the Valve Index is $1,000. So even then, if you've got a decent PC, but you're like, I really want to try VR, I want to try Half-Life Alyx, probably the best way to do it. Cheapest.
Yeah.
Way. And if you're into your PC gaming that you can run VR anyway, £300 isn't a huge upgrade for a PC gaming enthusiast. There's very little I can find fault with it. Like, the price is good. It's comfortable. I love the fact it comes with a glasses spacer. I have an Index behind me. I have a PSVR. I've had a Rift. I've tried HTC Vive. I've tried near enough all of the VR's experiences, and this one comes with a glasses spacer, which sounds silly, but lots of people wear glasses, and it's really uncomfortable in VR without glasses, with glasses, and I can't see without them. So the fact this comes with just a little plastic surround that just basically, it's that thick, it just pushes the thing away from your face to just take a bit of pressure off, is such a simple yet wonderful thing. The Rift controllers are still, the Quest 2 controllers are still those Oculus Touch things, which are still phenomenal, and they feel great, and they feel really comfortable. They've got like the thumb tracking, and they've got the finger tracking now, so like it's just, if you're on the fence and you've tried VR and you kind of want this, go for it, But just be aware, like I say, it's not. And this is one of the things I think they're going to run into, is nowadays with things like Xbox, you've got Xbox Game Pass, whereas with this, you get this, there's demos, because there's a demo of Beat Saber, but you do have to buy the games. They're 20 quid a pop, they're video games, you have to buy them all. So the question becomes, are you really going to put this much time into VR? Because if you are, you're going to spend, I'd say, 100 quid on games to get your Super Hot, get your your Beat Saber, to get your, I think, Res Infinite's coming soon, Tetris Effect, to get all of them. Are you going to do that? If so, cool. Again, go for it. But just think about what you're outlaying and how much you're still going to have to outlay to buy games. It's the equivalent of, like I say, buying an Xbox, and, well, it's the equivalent of buying a PS5. You do then have to go, well, am I going to buy Spider-Man? Am I going to buy... Because you'll need games to play on it.
Mm.
I'm going to put something together, like a video review, to go with the main review. The thing is, I've done like screen capture on your iPhone you can do, and the quality of it I'm not particularly happy with, so I'm going to put a disclaimer in there. It's fine when you're watching it, but it is definitely like, it's almost like someone streamed it, because that's what is happening. It's casting to the phone. And you can cast to a Google Chrome as well and stuff like that, so you could cast it to your TV for people to watch. I'm just hugely impressed with it. Really am.
Cool.
I can't say enough nice things about it. Christopher Hyde.
Hello, sir.
In a preview sense, what have you been up to?
In a preview sense, I have been playing Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch.
Okay, now bear in mind I haven't read the NDA for this in a while, so I can't stop you if you're going to get us in the shit.
I will do my best to not get us in the poo-poo.
I'd prefer if you did better than try, is what I'm asking you to do, Chris.
Do or do not, there is no try, I suppose. I won't get us in the poo-poo.
Iron Man, was that Iron Man?
It's Yoda. Isn't it? Oh, God, I hope it is.
The joke was, remember, I'm a Star Wars expert, so...
Oh,
that's
sorry.
What make people come for the in-jokes on podcasts.
Come
for the
bants, stay for the handsomeness. Yes. Okay, so Pikmin 3 Deluxe then. So, have you guys both played Pikmin 3?
I reviewed it on
You
the Wii
reviewed
U.
it?
Yeah.
Did you review it?
I did.
What did you give us?
I think I gave it a 9.
10 out of 10.
No, it wasn't. You talk amongst yourselves and I'll find it.
To answer your question, Chris, I did play it back in 2013, if I'm correct.
2013, it was 2013.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
You know, what I'm seeing in the first line of this review is that I've chilled out a lot more since, because this is a pretentious opening line. Pikmin 3 is and what do you think I said after that?
Masterpiece.
No.
Incredible.
Emotional roller coaster.
Oh wow!
Oh hey!
Wow. Okay.
And I had the balls to actually start the second one with. It's become a cliche now.
I'm gonna have to up my review game for the Deluxe first, then, aren't I? I'm gonna have to. Yeah. Okay. I'll bear that one in mind. I just remember
Pikmin 3, and I'm remembering as I'm looking down the review to make sure what I remember. I wrote a lot of words. 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Mm. I really enjoy Pikmin 3 from what I can remember of it.
I said Pikmin 3 is great value for money. The
soundtrack
is luscious, I said. You've got to be careful because you can't say any of these things. Pikmin 3 is everything we were promised it would be. A gorgeous, fun, exciting experience that absolutely everyone should try. God. Never leave a Pikmin behind, though, as that scars you for life. I'm sorry.
When did you... It's like only 7 years ago. In those 7 years, you've just become like an empty soulless. Yeah. So Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Then it is obviously the main bulk of the game is just Pikmin 3 from the Wii U, but it's added on top of that the DLC that was added
I don't
later.
remember there being any DLC.
So there was additional kind of missions which are almost like challenges that you can do that around either collecting.
Now you said that.
Either kind of collecting coins, beating enemies, or redoing bosses, and you get ranked on them: bronze, silver, and gold, depending on how well you do.
You want them? Okay, that's fine.
What do you think I said?
I think
don't ask him that.
I think you know.
Just continue, Chris.
I'm really trying to think, and I can't. So I'm too.
Don't listen to Adam Cook right now.
Seriously, what rhymes with ranked?
Would you let it go?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No,
yeah,
I won't.
Sorry.
Okay, you're with us now.
Yeah, I'm with you now. So I'm so innocent.
There you go.
Yeah. So they're all in as part of the package up front. There's also a side story that you unlock as you play as well, which I won't go into too much because NDAs. But yes. there's that content.
Those pesky things, Christopher.
Yeah, I know.
Can't talk about this game that came out 7 years ago.
Exactly. So there's extra content there as well. So it's interesting when you say, obviously, in the Pikmin 3 review in 2013, it's a lot of content, a lot to enjoy. There is even more than just the base game.
I remember it being a decent length.
Yes,
sorry,
I think
I've just got the podcast title there. Sorry, I don't normally put things down that I say, but
like that's too good an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think the main story. I think obviously it depends how efficient you are in the days. A lot of it is obviously how much you can get done in a day, but I think sort of like 15 sort of hours is the kind of the time of from memory. So there's a lot in there, and there's obviously this extra stuff as well. The biggest change though I guess the gameplay options in the deluxe version, as well as the extra content, is that they've added co-op to the main story now. So local co-op. So that means that me and my wife, COVID secure, have been playing. It's my wife now, has been playing Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And so it's just your standard vertical split screen.
She's also signed the NDA, Nintendo.
She's also signed the NDA. It's fine. Let's put me off. And it works really well. To be fair. No, I know. It works really well because even at the start of the game where there's not even two characters to control, you just control like ghost characters. So it's not like player two's got to sit there whilst you do the first couple of missions to get two playable characters. They can go in from the start. And you can also pick up any save and carry on playing it as one or two players at any point. So even if you start a game or start a story with two of you, you can pick it up as solo and vice versa. Okay. So it's there's a lot of options going on there depending on how you want to play. But the co-op, it works really well. The split screen is fine. It doesn't do that weird Lego title game where it funks it over. It just sticks where it is. And you can move the camera freely, which really helps independently. Oh, yeah. And but the biggest thing I think is it makes the game, you can be more efficient and you can be more tactical, because normally in the old,
not break it. I mean, I don't know how.
Well, I'll come on to that
because
I'll come on to that in a minute, because we mentioned that in my preview, which is available now on godisgeek.com for you to go and read. Being able to kind of, we're sitting in the same room going, okay, you go over there, you go and get that lemon, I'll go over here and kill this bug thing.
Well, the neighbours next door are listening with the car. What?
She's after his watermelon now. What's going on there?
Well, hello,
so so again,
mate, again, I'm sorry.
I'm just really, I know
by now that if you say anything that
like that
sexually construed, I'll take it.
I'm my own worst enemy. Yeah. So
no, I'm your worst enemy.
Okay.
Sorry,
so you
Chris,
can do it.
Please.
You can go away and do separate things. Whereas normally what you'd have to do in Pikmin 3 would be go and tell someone to go and do it whilst you're controlling the character you're controlling, which is a bit more fiddly and a bit more manual. And obviously, so you can still divide and conquer in Pikmin 3, but in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, obviously with two of you controlling someone, independently, it can be much more efficient, get much more done. Which, to your point, Adam, does mean that you can speed through things that would normally take you a couple of days. You might be able to crack in a day, and it does mean that the difficulty does get a little bit easier. It becomes less of a challenge because you can two of you can take on some enemies and flank them and be really strategic about it, and it does make things a bit easier. But what they have added to kind of counteract that is some extra difficulty levels.
I really want to play Pikmin 3 again.
So you've got the normal level, then they've got a hard mode and an ultra spicy mode, I think it's called, for when you've finished hard mode. But they also have just released the demo if you want to go and play this. And I think if you complete the demo, then you do unlock that extra spicy mode if you upgrade to the full game straight off the bat, I think. So I guess for those people that have played Pikmin 3, there's an option to start off on a harder difficulty straight off the bat as well. So they have tried to kind of counteract the fact that they've kind of acknowledged it's easier, but there's still the option there. But co-op's great. I really enjoyed playing it in co-op with my wife. It's a real sense of teamwork and camaraderie, which you didn't normally get in a Pikmin game.
You don't normally get with your wife.
I don't normally get with my wife. We're normally just arguing in separate rooms, not talking. Ideally, yeah. So
ideally,
well, yeah. She doesn't watch this. It's fine.
She doesn't like me. You know what? Anyway. Genuinely, like I don't know where Adam is on this, but I sort of. I mean, Chris, I wanted to play this. I don't know that I get time for this kind of game if it's not something I'm reviewing. And you can't answer this because it's too reviewy, but I do really... I just remember that game making me feel kind of warm inside, Adam, and I don't know if that's... That sounds like it's just kind of warm inside Adam. Kind of warm inside. Don't you agree?
Like, it's the Nintendo thing. Do you know what it is?
Don't you find you don't want to say that because it's like we'll say it all the time. Fair point, actually. Fuck them.
Just fucking Nintendo. That's
right.
They do well.
There's a reason why we like Nintendo, and it is often that charm, that joyful goodness that you feel.
And that's not to say that Nintendo are the only ones, because Sony do it like The Last of Us, but it's a different thing. But it's still a strong thing,
My only thing here is that, like, as I said, it's 2013 when this game came out. They should have just released all three of them together. That's just it. I really think, like, personally, at this stage it's coming out, with everything that's coming out, I think it's, not to be negative, but I think it's kind of doomed. I don't...
Nah, like, you're right. It'll be all right.
So I think it'd be fine. I think there's enough content here to say, did we really need to add 1 and 2 onto that? I think that would just be overload. I think
also, to be fair, you're getting a little bit reviewy, so I will cut you across there a bit because of all these things you can say when you can score the game and say what you properly think of it. This is just in a previous.
No, I guess all I would. Oh, you've made me literally lose my train of thought. Which
I'm scared you, aren't I? Is what I've done, because now you're frightened that big Nintendo are going to come knocking on your door.
If I'm thinking, I'm thinking. Considering Pikmin 3,
yes.
because I can do that. I think it would always get lost if you released all 3 together.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
The gameplay, whilst different in each game, is very similar. Whereas it's not like 3D All Stars, where the gameplay, despite being Mario, is each one is very different.
Yes,
there's a lot of similarities in those 3 games, and you don't need to have played one to play the others. So I think that's. I don't think. I disagree with you. I think you want it because you like all the Pikmin, but
also,
I don't think
the story, based on my experience of the original Pikmin 3, is self-contained, isn't it? So it's Pikmin 3's story. Like I don't actually think I have played another Pikmin game, or if I have, it was like sat around someone's house.
I played 2.
Right. So but I don't feel
definitely
like you
not
need to play 1 or 2 to play. I don't know. We can't even say when your review's coming, but it will be soon, obviously, because the game's out soon.
I'm getting it day one, but like,
like, I think it's Doom.
I think it's going to look terrible.
He hates it, and it's Doom, but he's getting it on the 30th.
Like, I am. Like, I when this got announced, I was very excited, but it's just one of those, another call from Nintendo where I'm just like, why didn't you just give me the other 2 as well?
Man, I think this year we need to let them off at that a little bit, because I think of all the companies out there, I think they had plans they were unable to fulfill because of the world right now.
I'd also just like to point out the man that was moaning about his big backlog wants 2 games he's already played to death as well.
Look, this is part of the OCD thing and the collecting thing. That's just my... Like, I'm going to have Pikmin 3 and I'm just going to stare at that case and be like, fuck's sake, where's 1 and 2?
It was a beautiful looking game. I do remember that, thinking how lovely it looked. Like, it has that weird... almost painterly effect, like on the water and stuff and the bridges, and I just remember, I don't know, I'm going to do it now myself, but I just remember being utterly charmed by it.
Question,
right?
playing, if I remember correctly, Chris, is there something on the Wii U when you played Pikmin 3 with your gamepad?
Yeah, you could
Like
touch
looking
it,
at the
couldn't
screen
you?
of the gamepad. What's the story with the Switch one? If I'm taking it
Yeah,
away and I'm like,
so there are gyro control options that you can put in place using either like the gyro within the Pro controller or the Switch and stuff, and you can also use the touch screen as well to like, aim and things. And you can invert the gyro for people that like inverted, Adam. You can do that if you want to as well, either vertically or horizontally. So that's all in the options for control methods. But the default, which I preferred, is the normal stick and trigger to lock on. But you can do that as well with the gyro. So there is functionality there to use that as well, which is good. It's a nice thing because normally those sorts of things get overlooked. Obviously, you were talking about the stuff in Mario Galaxy that I wish we'd been. So it's quite nice that that's an option there.
So what's the final score you're giving it, Chris, and how does it end?
And moving on. Have you played anything else? Because I know you're going to, same as me, you're going to literally start FIFA very soon. Yeah, there you go. Like we're both got
not together. That's awkward, isn't it?
What about that? What about that?
We like each other, but not that much.
Look, I'm just going to say right now though that box art is absolute dog shit.
I actually really hate it.
No, it's poor, man. Turn it around there a second. Turn it around. Right?
It looks like someone can't do a power slide.
Yeah, it's like it's like they had a lash of cans and came home and said, right, better do the FIFA art. And just went off fucking.
But Adam, Xbox Series X is my first disc copy with a.
There you go.
We don't have an Xbox Series X, so what are you going to do there?
Hold on a minute. Just hang on.
What?
Oh dear.
Are you looking at the font? Something
on the back. I don't know if this is going to come across, but
that's literally play together.
Win as one.
Win, and the R.
It's the same with mine.
So
as well.
Badly laid out.
And the thing that annoyed me with this, because there's obviously the you get the free upgrade to like Series X and PS5. I found out that, and people might have known this, I was just ignorant, but like Pro Clubs and Careers doesn't transfer.
Yeah, I did know that.
So like Ultimate Team does, but like
nothing else.
My Pro Clubs,
nope.
won't. I'm going to start again.
There's no save compatibility. Ultimate Clubs is server side.
Yeah, which is
that's to stop people hacking, because you can't hack something that is stored on the cloud, whereas they I guess they don't care about your progression. They literally don't care about your progression. I wonder if that's the same on a digital copy on Xbox Series X from one. Because I thought with that version you just keep playing.
I don't know. I just read it and I was like, because I play Pro Clubs a lot. That's the thing. So I was like annoyed, but yeah.
Well, Adam Carroll, talk to me about a video game.
Oh no, I haven't been playing anything else. You asked me the question.
Well, I was
just briefly going to mention. I've just been playing Filament on Switch.
Yes.
Got the review up on God is Geek.
Mm-hmm.
So reviewed this on PC. I want to say back in April. I think it came out.
Could have been a decade ago at this point.
And that, it's been a long year. And Filament, right? So it's a puzzle game all about making lights light up. So you control this little robot with a cable on its back, and you just go around all these nodes and you have to light them up. And it's really hard to explain until you see like a video of it. If you see a video of it, you go, I get it. But it's a really clever puzzle game. When I reviewed it on PC, I did say in my review that it's a balls hard puzzle game. Like, it is unforgivingly hard at times, because it's really clever in the way it does its puzzles, because it thinks you've almost got the solution, but you haven't, and you want to just punch your PC. So almost to the point where I was spending hours on hours on the same puzzle sometimes. I was just trying the same thing over and over. It wasn't working. But what they have done since the launch is built in a hint system, which is now the Switch version's launched. Now the Switch version's live, it's got that built in, and that sort of changes things a little bit, because it just means that, well, one, you're not going to throw your Switch, which is quite an expensive controller anyway, but it just makes it a little bit more accessible, because Adam, we had it in Slack, 3 of us trying to do one of the puzzles at one point. So it was a bit of a challenge. So the fact that they've got a hint system now, where for each puzzle you can get a couple of hints to help you on the way, does mean that if you are stuck on one particular puzzle and you can't move on, it just gives you a bit of a helping hand. So that really does make this. It's still a challenge. It's still, puzzle fans will still get a lot from it. And if you are interested in it, you should definitely give it a go. But it does mean it's a bit more accessible to people. And I would say on Switch, it just feels like, I hate to say the phrase, perfect on Switch, but it does work because all the puzzles are like single screen and it's a puzzle game that you can dip in and out of. It does feel like it's just one of those, it feels right for that console more than maybe any other console. So I just wanted to say, obviously go read the review, but and check out some videos as well, because it's hard to explain the puzzling, but definitely worth a look if you're into puzzlers, and it's out now on Switch, so give it a go.
Fair enough. Yes, as Chris says, go to godisageek.com. If you just listen to the podcast, you'll find a bounty of content for your eyes. Adam Carroll, Hades. You've played Hades now.
I have played Hades.
Rubbish, innit?
So,
Rubbish, innit?
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Supergiant Games, let me just say that Bastion, Transistor, and
Pyre.
Pyre, there we go. Never played Pyre, played Bastion, Transistor, and I want to say that
I think you like Pyre quite a lot. Of all people,
would I?
Because think you really like Pyre.
What I'm going to say next might upset some people, but
okay.
I know that Bastion and Transistor are very, very good games.
Oh, no.
Didn't click with me.
Yeah.
They just didn't, and I don't know why. I think they looked amazing. They sounded amazing.
So you've now made me doubt myself, because I would have bet the house almost that,
okay.
Like you say, the visuals, the voiceover, the music to those games.
Yeah, amazing. It's all there, and I know they're very creative and they're just well made, but it just did not click. Something just wasn't working for me. So that's why my excitement for Hades was kind of always like
bit tempered by the sound of it, because
in ways I was like, oh, everyone's loving it. No surprise, because people love Supergiant Games and for the right reasons. But I said, fuck it, I'm going to have to play this because look, here it is. It's on Switch, whatever. And boy, oh boy, Hades is absolutely unbelievable. It is like, here's the thing. I'm still playing it, and I plan on playing this game for a long time because there's so much to do. And for the type of game that it is, the roguelike side of things, right? The last one that I ever truly loved was Dead Cells. And to me, that kind of style of game, the roguelike genre, it's not really my bag. Like, I have to be told, look, play this, and I'll do it, right? And all the talk of Hades was like, I'm going in with this because it has to happen. There's so much to Hades and so much content that I just know I'm going to be playing for a long time. But I struggle, from what I have played, I struggle to point out a fault in this game. And like, unless someone can go, well, I don't like this part, I don't like that part. Like, every time I die, I am so unbelievably blown away by how the game is designed to make it not feel like a complete and utter failure. Your death,
I mean, it's a
or your
roguelike
loss.
that doesn't feel like a roguelike because there's no. It resets, but it doesn't reset.
It resets, and it's the fact that like each character that you meet, that you go to talk to again in like the House of Hades and stuff, which I'll get to in a second. But it's just each character in general. It's like they all know how you just got on, and they mention it. So like the first kind of like boss is Meg, and like I died 2-3 times with her first. Then I beat her. And then I died again. And then I beat her again. And that's kind of the way I was rolling, because I'm trying to experiment with each new weapon and trying to figure out which one's my favorite. And each weapon also is just amazing. It just all works really well.
So you got a favorite?
But I would say, as it stands right now, I love the spear.
Really?
And
You're the first person I've heard say that.
I love that.
That's cool though. That's like you said, every weapon's good.
Yeah, I just love the kind of like the reach of it, obviously, but I just think that's great, and I love the bow and arrow. I really wish I'd loved the sword. Like, I do love the sword. I just wish, in my head, I could achieve more with it. That would probably come over time, but I always feel when I have the sword, I need the dash upgrade where it leaves off like some sort of like thing.
Yeah.
But like, see, all these things alone are just like what makes this game so amazing. But it is down to the story, the visuals, and the gameplay loop is just so unbelievably addictive. Like, it's scary how addictive it is to me. Like, I die, and when I die, I'm like, but wait, I'm going back to the House of Hades, which then I'm just like, as he comes out of the pool, I'm like, I'm just going to see what they say. I'm going to see what they say about that run I just did, or what
dog.
Yeah, what are they going to offer me, or will I just give this gift to somebody? And like meeting Hades, and he's just being a prick. I'm just like, I'll show you, boy. I'm gonna do Unreal in the next run, and all this kind of stuff. This game is like just there's so much to it that we can talk about come game of the year, but like this is easily one of the best games of the year.
Yeah.
I think it is an absolute 10 out of 10. And like it's 25 quid or something on Switch. And I think if you're sitting there wondering or thinking like, oh, I've seen it, what there is, but like it's not my type of game, everyone should try this. Every single person should try Hades.
I need to get it. I need to play it. I just need to do it.
It just like because I was after seeing obviously gameplay of it and stuff, and I was like, it looks cool, it looks frantic, and you know when you see a game that's that fast, you're kind of going, is that person just amazing at the game, or is that game just like banging?
It can be both.
It absolutely can be both. But like when I was playing it, I was doing stuff, and I was just like, that just felt amazing. Yeah. Like no one, like you go into a room or a chamber even, and like there'll be tons of enemies, and next minute, like not a single bit of your life is gone, and you're just after destroying them. And like each upgrade, each new chamber, like your decision of what way you want to make your build, which by the way I think is just in its own right completely genius. On how each run you can just decide whether you want to go this way with your upgrades and your build. And like I've still so much to unlock, and to be honest, I've only gotten like as far as I think the third or fourth area where I fought these two guys. I've only met them once, so I don't know much about them right now. But you know, it never feels like, and this is the other side to the gameplay and just the general design that Supergiant have made here, is that like you do progress, you will progress. You know, even though you fail so much, each failure is just a massive progression. It's not like you learn the levels. It's just like you meet some NPC and they go, oh, hey, look, I see you're doing terrible there with this person, but they'll give you something that you're kind of going, oh, but that will really help me, I feel. And it does. I
think the combat as well, by the way, you mentioned it. I think it's the mark of how good it feels and plays.
Yeah.
You don't really notice your health.
No.
But you know your health.
Yeah.
You know if you got through, like you said, you'll look down and go, I took no damage, but you kind of know that.
You kind of know it, yeah.
You know when you've had a bad room and you're like, maybe I should even just start again. No, I'll keep going. But
yeah, and
you know how you've done a room.
All the boons and stuff, all those upgrades alone, like I've never played a game that like, and like I probably am. Like I'm probably going to say this now, like, but I don't think I've ever played a game where it gives you your upgrade and it gives you like 3 or 4 to pick from, and all of them I'm just like, I want them all. I want all of them.
Depends on the weapon for me, I think sometimes.
What's that?
Some of them depend on the weapon I'm using for that.
Yeah.
But there's so many different. Creating your build as you play each time is just endlessly fun.
Yeah,
like you say, you kind of can't decide, and then you almost want to. I don't want to break the flow, but you sit there like, no, hang on, that one, and then you go down, back up. You can't make up your mind, can you?
Yeah, it's crazy, and even though it goes into that detail of it gives you plus blah 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 to your attack or whatever. Do you know the way there's a part of me where I feel like some games when they do and say these things, I'm like, does it really make a difference? Hades, it does. It just does. Yeah. And there's a huge. I said this to you, Ed, but like, there's a massive thing where like with Shadow of War, for example, like the Nemesis system and going back to fight somebody. Like Hades is the first game since that I have played that does that kind of feeling so goddamn well. Like every time, as I said, you walk in to see Meg and she says something to you, like, and your relationship just gets shittier and shittier, and you're just like, all right, let's just get to it. And it's so amazing how it handles it. And I think like Zagreus as a character is just amazing. Like, he is very funny. I love how he just looks at his father and just like, whatever. And their relationship is amazing. Hades is, I could just keep saying great things about it. It's an outright essential for everyone to play this year.
Well, there you go. We will be talking more about Hades, I think, come the end of the year then.
Yeah.
But for now, we can talk about some listener correspondence, Adam. And let's start with you, mate. McPoo from Discord says, will you have enough space in your entertainment units for your shiny new consoles? Or will they have to sit on top or be relegated to a nearby table instead?
Judging off of that recent video...
Well, this is why I didn't put it in the news, because PlayStation have done like an official teardown of the console.
Yeah, that I saw that and I just went off, for Christ's sake. I knew that this thing was going to be big, but come on.
Everyone was hoping it was a really small man. They were just hoping it was a really small man.
Do you know, like, the thing is, right, I have, like, my unit is like one of those like cabinets that I can lock and stuff, and all my consoles are in it. Like, I personally wouldn't feel, even if I could definitely get the PS5 into it, but I don't think I want to, because the size of that thing and the power it's probably going to use,
it's going to blow the doors off.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be right to have a console like that size in a cabinet like that. So it's going to have to go on top. Then that's just that.
Do you not think that, because I get the feeling that both of these, we're talking about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, I get the feeling both of these were built with in mind of like, no, but you'll want to display it like a museum piece. Because the Xbox One, sorry, fucking, there you go, I've done it. There you go. Once this episode, the Xbox Series X looked huge until they sent them out to people. Yeah. And then you saw the PlayStation 5 and like, oh, it's not so big, is it? It's not actually that big at all, the Xbox Series X. I think the Series X will fit in the room I've got comfortably. In my lounge in the house, I think it will. It will fit. I'm not hugely happy with the airflow, if that's the situation. The PS5, I'm not sure about the laying down, how long it will be laying down, but standing up, I mean, I've no idea where that's going in the house.
Seeing the size of that console in that video has made the general design of the wings even more annoying to me. I'm just a bit like, for fuck's sake, like, you could have shaved off a bit of that at least anyway.
So what about you, Chris? Does it fit?
So mine will just be on this desk here, actually, next to my monitor. So mine's just on a desk.
So we'll hear it next time the podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping between now and launch I can get a bigger desk, because I think I might need it. Wow. But yeah, I'm quite glad, because all the stuff that I'm hearing about, like the heat and stuff, I'm quite glad they're not in an enclosed unit.
What was that about the PS5 that came from that video? Like, it's some sort of vacuum system that sucks dust into the holes.
Don't know. Got incredibly bored.
There's you can shove a Hoover, other brands available, like a Dyson or something, into these holes and suck out the dust. But my understanding is, obviously, you can get dust in other places, but that's the place where it will congregate the most. And so if you suck it out,
sounds like a design flaw. That sounds like there's a design flaw that they went, we better put some holes in it so they can suck the dust back out.
I don't know, mate. They made it sound, well, if they did, it's good marketing, because they made it sound like they designed it that way. But, I mean, yeah, at that point I was like, that shouldn't be a marketing feature. But anyway.
Why are we having a company tear down their own console? Xbox did this as well. Why?
Let's not even get into that.
Okay, good point.
Let's not even get into that.
Good point, well presented. He's changed his name. Dead Meat Beat Punk for the Halloween on Discord says, if you could, we'll get this one not out of the way, but this is the one that we're going to get all maudlin and serious. But if you could get back in your, I'm sure we've done this question.
I think we've done this question,
but Chris might not have. If you could go back in time and give your 10-year-old self some advice, what would it be? Also, how do you think your 10-year-old self would have reacted, and would they have listened?
Right. So first off, I don't think any 10-year-old would listen to any advice. I don't think. And I certainly don't from their parents. If it was me and I'm like, I'm from the future, that might spook me a little bit.
Would you believe you?
No, probably not. But
At 10?
so no. So I'll probably go no. It's just some creepy old dude giving me some advice.
Both can be true.
True. But so what advice would I try and give? I'd probably I'd probably just say, just put the donuts down, mate. Just leave it.
Put the donuts down.
Just go for a walk, go for a run, do some sport,
We've
move.
all had a laugh. We've all had a drink, mate.
Yeah,
You suddenly turn into Al Murray.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of that. Yeah, and also, I think the other bit, I'd be like, the stuff that you'll think is important at school, with how people think about you and stuff, it don't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what people think. It doesn't matter.
You're wasting your time, young me. You're wasting your time, young me.
I don't mean that. I mean,
young me, you are wasting your time.
This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the things that you get hung up on as a kid. Maybe 10's a bit younger. Maybe it's more in your teenage years. You get hung up on what people think about you and stuff like that. And it is important in the moment, but it doesn't ultimately matter. And you'll grow up and you'll be happy with who you are, and that's the most important thing. But they won't listen. But that's probably what I'd say to them.
See, I think young me might listen, but he'd then probably just get over it. I think I'd tell me now, because to be fair, this question you can answer at any time and the advice will be different. I think me now would tell 10-year-old me, please do not spend the next 30 years of your life thinking you're not good enough for everyone. And that's as miserable as it's ever going to get. But please, you're worth something. Everyone you know, everyone's worth something. Please don't think that you're not. Don't let that get to you. Go and be happy. Fucking hell, life's hard enough. And then, I don't know. Adam, would you listen to yourself?
Yeah, I would just say to not get so stressed out.
Yep.
With everything.
Yeah.
I'm
laughing, but go on, please.
I love it when people just think just telling someone to not be stressed instantly makes me more stressed in the moment.
Does it?
If I'm already stressed and someone says, well, just don't be stressed or just calm down.
No, of course.
I'll get right on that.
I'm saying it to myself, my younger self, that I'd be like, back then I thought way too hard about things.
Yeah.
And have been greeted, as life does, with failures and triumphs. But failures stay more in your head.
Yeah.
And that's just that. And they're the things that I had to work on a lot as a young person, and realize that fuck's sake, and be bummed out, as opposed to just going, that's happened, move on to the next thing. I wish I could just have that. I've had that a lot.
Yeah.
But
I'm not laughing at what you've said. I still can't get the message I've just seen out of my head, and it's really, really made me laugh. Which is great, because this is a downbeat question. We'll do one more and we'll get out of here for a week. We've got a lot to talk about next week, in fact. If you're studying this video really closely on a big screen, right above my head, literally here on camera, there is a box for a series of games, and I have been playing one of them. I've played my first next-gen game, I've just realised, and we'll talk about that next week.
What is
but
this?
for now, I can't say, Adam, that was the... If you want to delay this podcast...
trying to get us slapped.
I do not, my friend.
No, I know you don't. I saw the text. What game did it for you? Thomas wants to know. And it being the moment that you knew you would just be like, games are it for me. What's that first game where you were like, bang, yes.
See, I think this question is absolutely banging. These are the kind of questions I love. Now, if someone said this to me after a couple of pints, I'd be like, "Oh, we talk about this all night." Are we talking about the game that made you just go, "I love games now. I just love games.
Kind
this
of,
is amazing."
I can name mine. I can just go bang like that, and I knew it straight away when he said it, and it was the first game I ever played.
Believe it or not, right? The first game that comes to mind for me, where I'd be like, I remember playing that so much, and it made me realize how great games are. But I don't talk about this franchise a lot. But it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic would be up there. Would be a choice
on
for me,
Sega Master. Even though I could play it now and be like, oh, it's amazing, whatever. But it's not it wouldn't even reach top 10 for me. But that game when I was a kid, I was like, video games are so cool. Like, what more is there, like, you know? So probably that.
Fair. Sonic would be up there, but it's not mine. Chris, do you want to go or?
Yeah, Super Mario World. So
World?
I think,
okay.
Not because it wasn't my first.
No,
I was thinking about this, and I'm just thinking like I played a lot of games on the Spectrum actually before console days, and so it definitely wasn't my first. But I think that was probably the game that was certainly the one I remember the most in terms of like the Nintendo charm that really hooked me into gaming. I went Nintendo then for years after that, and it was like that's it for life now. And you know, I've grown a bit and become less of a fanboy over time, but that really hooked me in, and I think that's probably the first Nintendo game that really sucked me in and probably led to that whole gaming for life.
You're gonna have to stop texting me, Adam, because sorry, Chris.
I don't do anything.
No, okay, sorry, Chris. Adam's sending me text messages, and I'll tell you what they are afterwards. But the pod will never know.
Okay, great. So Super Mario World,
yes, which is
what would your game be, Adam?
So my game would be a game called Pod or POD, which is close to POO, but it's not there. It's POD, Proof of Destruction, which is a Commodore 64 game from 1986 or 1987. And you may, if you're listening to this podcast, have accidentally heard some of the music because I clicked play on a video and the way we recorded it.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard it or not, if everyone heard it, but there was a little bit of it. And I played it with my dad on C64. He was not a man into his technology, but they somehow afforded to get me this Commodore 64. I was like, oh my God, it's fucking... And it was the first game I ever played. And something ignited me knowing my dad somehow played it, and I played it, that was like something special about this medium, and it was just there. And I watch it back now, and I can't now because the sounds will come through, and it's just like I've just turned the sound off, and I'm just literally looking at a video to it, and it's like it's still, I can still see it. I had the joystick. I could still, the little ones that were on like a Kempston joystick. It was like, and I could still see it. And that game is just something else. Still, bring it back. Bring it on Switch. 40-year anniversary. 30 years. 40 years. 35 years. Doesn't matter. That is a podcast for this week. Thank you very much for sending your questions. We've got a few actually saved for next week, which we will get to. I think we might have a lighter week on the games talk next week. We can get to some questions maybe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for everything. Adam Carroll and Christopher, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody else, we will see you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye for now.